It's Carrie. I wanted to do my book review of Scarlet before I went to bed. I am kind of tired, but I made notes while I was on my break at work. Yes, this is receipt paper, so I can at least have a somewhat organized thought process. Now, this is going to be in a couple parts. Two major parts is just a general overview with my reaction to the story, and then if you haven't read the book yet, you have every opportunity to shut it off, go read the book, and then come back and watch the whole video, because then the part after that is spoilers. So, here we go! Okay, look at this cover. Can we talk about how gorgeous this cover is? Just, okay, you can't really see too well because the light in my room kind of, and I don't have that great of a camera. But, okay, the matte background is the main picture, and you know, she's kind of lurking in the woods and, you know, hiding out and everything. So it offers a little bit of a mystery. And then this glossy overlay of the leaves gives it a little bit of a shine, and then kind of like hides her even more. It's just brilliant and gorgeous, and I love it. And you see a thumbnail of it on Goodreads, or you see somebody on video holding it, and you're like, hey, this kind of looks intriguing. And then you get your hands on it, and it's beautiful! So this is my spoiler-free section, the overview of the story. Now, Scarlet is a sort of Robin Hood retelling-ish, one of many, over the centuries, obviously. I mean, the story itself is a retelling of a story that was passed on word of mouth, and the actual character of Robin Hood could be completely fiction. It could be a mishmash of several people. We don't know. Unless we had, you know, the TARDIS to come back and find out for sure. We're probably never gonna know. But that's the fun of it, because then we can have books like these and movies like Robin Hood Men in Tights and all that kind of stuff. And we can see different people adding their own little twists and turns to the story, which is just so much fun. I love reading the different interpretations of this legend. Now, the basic premise is the same. Robin Hood is the swashbuckling hero of the story and lives in Sherwood Forest in Nottinghamshire. And there's, you know, the traditional cast and crew, you know, altered a little bit according to what the author needs for the story, but it works. You know, there's Robin Hood, and then Little John, who's the big guy, and then there's Friar Tuck, who actually in this story is a tavern owner. He's not really a friar, but that's okay. He's still a big part of the story. And of course there's King Richard off on the Crusades, and the evil Prince John, and his crony, the Sheriff of Nottingham, and, you know, the usual cast of characters. There's one character that I've never really heard of that's a member of the group. His name is Much. He's kind of the kid brother of the group. Something happened in his past where he got his hand chopped off. So they kind of treat him a little differently than, you know, they kind of watch out for him a little more. Like I said, he's like the kid brother. And Scarlet is Will Scarlet. Now, she's been with the group for about 2 years, according to the story now. And only a select few, the 3 boys, Tuck, and a very choice, close group of people, know that she is a girl. Any other time they call her either Scarlet or Scar. partly for two reasons. Scar, partly because for whatever reason she has a scar across her face. And I didn't notice it in the cover because it's kind of on the side that's facing away from the camera, like when she's turned in her profile. But you can kind of see it a little bit on her cheek. And also when she's throwing her knives, sometimes she'll tie a red ribbon around it as like part of her signaling. So she'll do that. So that's how she gets the nickname Scarlet. And nobody actually knows her real name. And then when she's in town, they call her Will, and everybody thinks that she's a boy. And she takes, strips of fabric and ties herself up to try and pass off as a boy. They go through the, the traditional story of Robin Hood: rob from the rich, give to the poor, try and keep people from getting thrown into jail. And then something happens, and someone new comes to town, and things from Scarlet's past begin creeping out into the open. And she's absolutely terrified because she doesn't want her friends to get hurt. And the more they pick up on what something's wrong, the more she pulls back. And then the more that just drives them up the wall. Lots of drama, lots of feels. And it's really well written. The relationship between the core group of 4 people is really believable. You could really see that, these guys are like the best of friends, and they really believe what they're doing, even though it's against the law. And it's told from Scarlet's point of view. She has a really fun way of talking. I really enjoyed. It took a little bit to get used to, I'll have to admit, because she seems like she has a little bit of a difficulty with proper language. But then again, so did a lot of the common people at the time, because a lot of people weren't educated. So they didn't really know how to properly speak. And it's also changed over the course of several hundred years, how we speak English. And it's still changing. There's variations throughout the world. Language is constantly evolving, and we don't really know how they spoke back then. So it's a good, it's, like I said, it took a little getting used to, but I think it works for the story. And like I said, she wants to be treated as one of the boys. I don't know if it's maybe to try and help her escape her past a little easier. Like if she can fully integrate herself into this group, then she can just kind of say bye to whatever she left behind, which is so painful for her. And this is, this is hard, because this is the time when the mentality is, you are a girl, you are inferior, you are the thing that gets sold off by daddy to become somebody else's and become a baby maker, is basically all you are. So a girl that can stand on her own 2 feet, and not just that, but wield weapons with the skill that she does, is just amazing. Even when they see what she can do, they still try to hold her back a little bit. I don't know. Well, maybe it's, the time. I haven't quite figured that out yet. But in general, I loved it. I give it 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I would read it again. In fact, once I get all 3 books, because this is a trilogy, I'm definitely going to have a marathon. Because, oh my goodness, where have I been for the past 2 years? If you haven't read it yet, get it now. Lady Thief is book 2. It's also out. There is a 3rd one. Goodreads has it listed, but there's no title and there's no release date yet, so I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. probably have to check the author's website. So, yeah. Go out and get this book, like, last week. It is that good. And then you can see what I'm talking about and how wonderful the story is. Okay, this is your chance for people who don't want to hear any spoilers to back out. Okay. So, see, oops. Spoiler time! Okay, I'm gonna go over a couple key points in the story that I had like major reactions to. First of all, the love triangle. Now, when I first heard about this book, I think Little Book Owl had it in one of her hauls. I don't know if she ever read it yet. She hasn't had any kind of review on her YouTube page. But she might have written something. But I don't know. I'll have to look and check. But when I first saw this and I heard that Will Scarlet was a girl in this story, I thought there's going to be some kind of a love story. And there's going to be some kind of tension. Like maybe between her and Robin Hood, and then Maid Marian comes along. You know, that's what I was thinking in my head. But no. It's a love triangle between Scarlet and Robin and Little John. They both like her, and she's just like, back away, at first. And I'm just like, wait, what? And like I said in the prior part, Much is there, and he loves her, but as kind of like, I guess kind of like the big sister, you know, kind of thing. They have that brother-sister, kind of like a Harry-Hermione kind of affection. They love each other, but it's not that kind of a love, you know. And then there's the big reveals that happen in the story. Now, you're going through, and when she first comes across this Gisborne guy when she's breaking somebody out of prison, I believe, or something. I feel like an idiot. I just read this a day ago, but yeah, I think she was breaking somebody out of prison and she saw him, or she heard about him coming to town. And she's absolutely terrified of him. There's something about this guy that has completely shaken her up. And I'm thinking, what could it have possibly been? Like, did she kill someone that like meant something to him? Or did she like steal something valuable, or she hurt him in some way? But no. Come to find out, she's his betrothed. What? 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 I read that and I'm like, holy cow. What? So she's having this conversation, and it's you know, towards the end of the book, obviously. And she's having this conversation with Robin, and she's spilling everything. Whether she wants to or not, she's getting her past out there. She's talking about her sister, who she ran away with. In order for them to make money, Scarlet went off and was stealing, and her sister was either somebody's mistress or a prostitute, but however, whatever it was, it involved her sneaking out every night. And then she ends up getting consumption. From the way it was described, she never said, you know, I don't think she knew what it was, but Robin guessed it. And then she ends up dying this horrible death, and that just weighs on Scarlet so bad. And it's obvious that they were close, because she refers to this girl, her sister, several times, you know, in little glimpses at first, like she refers to her, not by name. And then she starts saying Joanna, Joanna, and I'm like, okay, this has got to be someone close. And then I find out it's her sister who died. And I'm just like, oh my God, I can't even imagine something like that happening. So she gets all that out, and they find out the reason that she ran away was because she was going to be married to this Gisborne person, who is just all around nasty, evil, ruthless, horrible, horrible, horrible man. And then Robin says the 3 words that blow my mind. So you're Marion. Marion? Like Maid Marion? Like the damsel in distress that, oh, save me, in all of the other portrayals of the story. She's also Scarlet, the kick-ass sword knife fighter. I could not wrap my head around this for like 10 minutes. And when I got to that part, I was sitting at this burger place. It's kind of like a Sonic. I'm sitting there and I'm reading this book, and I'm just like, holy crap! And I'm probably making all these faces because the car hops are coming. Are you okay, miss? Are you okay? Yeah, I'm good. Like, yeah, sure, fine. So of course he's mad that she didn't say anything, and then she gets mad that he's mad at her because she didn't want to say anything in the first place, but he obviously cares about her. And then there's the whole thing with John, which is like, huh? That I was in such a hurry to get to this other big reveal that I didn't even really get to touch on the whole love triangle thing. Like, John is, you know, of course, you know, Robin is the handsome hero, and, you know, in all the fairy tales, the handsome hero gets the girl. Well, and then there's the charming, funny, womanizer, who is John, who is having all of these feelings for her, and she doesn't take him seriously. I don't think she wants to take him seriously because she doesn't know who she wants to care for, and she doesn't want it to cause, you know, even any more tension than it already is. And like I said, he's, you know, the guy that goes after the barmaids, and, you know, they go into tux, and the pretty little girl will sit on his lap and, you know, swoon all over him, and he's just like, yeah, wait till tonight, you know. And so she thinks that if she starts to fall for him, that she's just going to be another, you know, another one in his line. And she doesn't want to do that. She just wants to be his friend. Well, at the same time, she's having these conflicting feelings between, maybe I like John, maybe I just want him to be a friend, maybe there could be something there. But wait, then there's Robin, who is incredible, and I might be falling for him, but then again, he's a nobleman, and I don't deserve him because of what happened to me, and I'm just a lowly thief. And then it's revealed that she's Maid Marian, and she comes from a wealthy family. Well, actually not a wealthy family. They had land. She says they have a whole bunch of land, but they don't have the money to take care of it. That's why they were going to marry their daughters off, and then they run off, and, you know, so that blew my mind, that whole thing. And that's like kind of what I was thinking with the whole love triangle thing, because nowhere in the story thus far had been Marian. I thought, you know, she would have been somewhere in there. And then I thought, well, there's going to be 2 more books in this series. Maybe she's in the other 2. No! Scarlet and Marian are the same person. So we get to the end, And it's sort of a semi-happy ending, maybe kinda, not quite, because there are a lot of loose ends tied up. Of course there would be if it was going to be a trilogy. Kinda obvious. A whole bunch of people get arrested for not paying their taxes. And so they plan this massive breakout, and they try and get people loose. Well, Robin gets captured, and he ends up being horribly tortured. They leave him alive just enough because this Gisborne guy wants to hang him. So Scarlet is feeling so horrible that she goes back and she's going to trade herself for Robin. So that means she's going to marry this Gisborne guy. Now, what happened just before, if you remember, is the Sheriff of Nottingham had just married a woman from the town, and not 2 minutes after, kills her stone dead. And I'm just like, you bastard! And then at the same time, I'm yelling at this girl, this poor girl who has just had her throat slashed, like, because she had been imprisoned earlier in the story, her and her brother, and I'm just like, why didn't you get used to be rescued when you had the chance, you stupid girl? Why do you believe the bad guy? He's the bad guy for a reason, because he's a lying, cheating, murdering sack of crap. So, since they've got the priest there, who had just said this marriage ceremony for the sheriff, he's going to say the same marriage ceremony for Gisborne and Scarlet marrying whatever her name is, in exchange that Robin goes free. So the boys take Robin and they take him off, and she marries him. Then the big rescue happens. There's just so much action in that little stretch of time. I'm falling asleep, so I can't process it to remember it all, because it was just like moment after moment after moment, which was just so amazing and so well written. And I feel like an idiot because I'm supposed to be doing a review, but I'm so tired I can't remember it all. But leave your comments about it if you know what I'm talking about, and I'll talk to you when I'm more awake. She basically says, screw you, I only said it to get him to go free. I'm gonna fight you for all it's worth and then go be with the man that I love. But if I die in the process, then that means at least he still got free. So he's furious, and they're fighting. The sheriff gets killed. John comes in and starts battling, and then something blows up. And for whatever reason, Scarlet runs off. She runs off to find Robin, and she leaves John fighting Gisborne, I guess thinking that he's trustworthy enough to end him and put everybody out of their misery, because, well, the sheriff's dead, so this guy might as well be dead, and then everything can be hunky-dory, at least for a little while, until a new sheriff is appointed. But that's not part's not really explained exactly why she does it. I mean, obviously she wants to go back to Robin and make sure that he's okay, because he's horribly, horribly injured from being tortured. So she goes back to their hideout in this cave, and she finds Robin and Much and their friend Godfrey, who's the brother of the girl that the sheriff married and then killed. And then John comes back and joins them, and you think everything's right as rain and end of the adventure, right? The guy gets the girl, the bad guy's dead, everything is fine and dandy, and just everybody needs to get all patched up and be on their way. No. Stupid John, let's Gisborne go! I heard that and I'm like, I wanted to scream, oh my goodness. This is, okay. What happened with Gisborne, John? I told you, he ran. Before that. John Full looked at me, staring at my face. I got distracted. Don't look at me for your distractions. I didn't do nothing for it. His face twisted in a funny way, sad and confused. You did. I went to kill him, and I thought, if he dies, you're with Rob. You're with Rob forever, and I haven't got a chance. I didn't mean to think it. It was just there, and it stopped me cold. I read that, and I'm like, you stupid idiot. Why would you do that? So just because you want a chance at her, and you want to cause more drama and more tension between someone who is supposed to be your best friend, you let the bad guy go, and everybody's in even more danger and misery now because this guy is a psychopath and is now her husband. But then again, it also couldn't be a trilogy if you didn't draw out drama a little bit. But it's got me hooked, so I guess it's worked. So my final thoughts on this whole thing before I really fall asleep. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. It's really, really good. I definitely read it again. I've been recommending it to my friends on Facebook, on Twitter. I actually follow AC Gogan on my Twitter now, and I sent her a message yesterday to say how much I love the book, and she tweeted me back. I'm so happy. Oh, I had a fangirl moment right there. Oh, it was amazing. I want to get my hands on Lady Thief so bad. Like I said in my haul earlier this week, I can't find it. That's the whole reason that I went book shopping this week, was to get that book, but I couldn't find it anywhere. I'm going to have to look on Amazon or something. And then find out when the next one comes out, because I'm so excited for that last story. So, if you've read it, and you agree or disagree with whatever I had to say, leave your comments below. I'd love to talk about it with you. Hopefully I'll be a little more coherent after a good night's sleep once I edit this. And I will talk to you guys about it. I will gladly hear from you guys. If you haven't read it yet and you've just been royally spoiled, but you still want to go read it anyway, go for it. So that's all from me. I'll have another video up soon. The next book on my list is Philippa Gregory's The Virgin's Lover. I can't wait to dive into this one. It's going to be amazing because she is awesome. But I didn't want to start it until I finished this one because I still wanted all of the ideas in my head for the review, and I didn't want to have any conflicting details. So, yeah. I'm excited. I can't wait to hear from you guys and have wonderful discussions about this fantastic book. So I'm going to go edit this and put it up on YouTube and then crash and burn. Because I have to work tomorrow. And it is 1:45. I'm so tired. So thank you for listening to my crazy random rambling mess. I tried to keep as much of it as I could coherent with my notes. I don't know how well I succeeded, but there it is. Try and edit out the worst of it. So have a good night, everybody. I will have another video up soon, and I'll definitely have a book review up in a few days, hopefully. Got some family stuff going down, so I don't know how much reading time I'll actually have over the next few days. But maybe that's what I'll need most of all, is just people to hide in a corner for a couple hours with a book. Maybe I'll pass out some of my books to my family members over the next few days. Like, here, this will help you feel better. Okay. Have a good day. I will post again soon. And thank you for watching. Goodbye.